Hey guys, Xaryu here, and today we are going to be going over some RMP gameplay playing Sub, Frost, Discipline Priest versus Assassin Arcane Disc. So this is an RMP mirror, but it's a little bit different because we're playing the original version of the comp, the Sub Frost, and they're playing that Arcane Assassin. So we're going to have a little bit more control. They're going to have a little bit more just on-demand random burst. We have more on-demand burst, so it's a little bit different between these comps here. We're in Ruins of Lordran, and I'm going to kind of walk you through my thought process. Of course, this is from the Priest point of view. Right away, guys, we get a sap onto the enemy Arcane Mage, and the first thing I want to do is dispel him so that I stay combat, so that I can't get sapped by the enemy Rogue. If I was sapped by the enemy Rogue, then then it kind of just throws off the whole rhythm. They can open up. So dispel, get combat, I can't get sapped, and right away I have full shields onto my mage. Unfortunately, my mage gets sapped and our whole go is kind of ruined. So my mage should have done the same exact thing, spell stole their mage, got combat so that he couldn't get sapped. I have the mage on focus target here, so I can Premonition or Shadow Word Death those polymorphs. I'm expecting the rogue to open up soon. And in this opener, it moves pretty fast in the RMP mirror, so I want to really be wary of a lot of things. Take note of my positioning as well. I'm line of sighting the mage and the rogue, so they can't easily throw a blind out onto me, or they can't easily throw a polymorph out onto me. Throw the Shadow Word Death, just missed that blind there, immediately trinket the blind. Rapture onto Virtue, he's in so much trouble. We actually overlapped the Powered Barrier and the Pain Suppression, so not the greatest thing here, because you want to only use one defensive cooldown at a time, but there's the Vendetta and just so much pressure coming out. So as we play this, Virtue is taking more and more damage. He's casting that polymorph. He does survive. We used a lot of cooldowns there. Virtue now using the Icy Vein. So once we get some CC, we can kind of counter pressure, and this is exactly what we're looking for. We have the polymorph onto the Discipline Priest, which was actually a random poly. Normally you want to kidney into the poly or kidney into the poly into the fear, but we did land that full polymorph, and we have the stun onto the mage. So now we get some counter pressure. I'm finally out of CC, but I've used Trinket on blind. I've used Powered Barrier and Pain Suppression overlapped. Once again, not the greatest. And now I'm using Archangel and Rapture to spam shields in the vert, trying to keep him up. So this opener, we've used a lot of defensive, but that's kind of how it goes in these Rogue Mage mirrors. It's very fast-paced, and I guess some of the best advice I have is really to just use your cooldowns and not die without using your cooldowns. You want to rotate through your cooldowns as effectively as possible. Full Kidney Shot comes down into my mage. I Life Grip him to keep him out of harm's way. I was going for a pre-massive spell there on the enemy mage too, because I thought we might force his ice block and we could just get a quick kill onto him, but didn't quite happen that way. So here's another setup. It's looking perfect. We polymorph the rogue, kidney shot the priest. What this is going to do, my mage is playing this perfectly. What this is going to do is he's going to swap the poly over to the kidney target, and then we're going to start the pressure onto the arcane mage. So the rogue can't stop it. So the polymorph on the rogue is just perfect. I have my fear coming up in a few seconds as well. So if this ring doesn't land or the polymorph doesn't land, then I can go for the fear. If it does land, I can fear after and keep that CC chain going on the priest. But this is perfect. The rogue is in the polymorph, the full Ring of Frost coming out. There's the Pain Suppression onto the mage, getting a little bit of damage out. Maybe go for a pre-mass dispel, and I do get polymorph. So that's a huge mistake by me. I should have Shadow Word Death or Premonition that polymorph there. No reason to get free sheeped like that. Mass Invisibility comes out, I get resheeped, a little bit trouble here, but now they wasted their DRs. They didn't use a ton of their bursts, and they used their DRs to sheep me, so now we're in a good spot, and we're looking pretty healthy for at least the next 15 seconds until that sheep DR comes back off. There's a kidney bomb onto the enemy mage, rogue's polymorph, nice cross CC. Once again, going for that pre-mass dispel. Not sure if we're going to need it. Maybe going a little bit too ham on those pre-mass dispels. Could have done a better job keeping Virtue alive. So huge blunder by me again. Should have just pre-healed there instead of going for those pre-mass dispels. I mean, it's really great if you get the pre-mass dispel, but having my mage block there with no CC on me is terrible. Definitely need to keep an eye on that. So now we get full polymorphed. However, Virtue just got stunned. He's not going to be able to get restunned for a while, so the enemy team kind of messing up their DRs a little bit. He got stunned eventually, but then he trinkets out of the kidney shot, throwing spell sting that arcane power. Full fear now onto the priest. Cross CC back and forth. There's the stun onto the mage as well, taking a lot of damage. He uses that greater invis, trying to keep himself kind of stabilized, which is nice. Can go for purges, mass dispels, want to stay nice and far. So the positioning right here is very important. If I'm pushing into them, they have an easier time. Their rogue has an easier time to vanish off stun me with a cheap shot, with a kidney shot, with a blind, and then to follow CC with the mage's polymorph or the fear. So me playing very far is definitely on purpose. I want to stay as far as possible from the enemy so I can see when they're setting up. If they are, the rogue's going to run towards me. The mage is going to have to push in for that type, for that CC, and I can see that the ghost coming and then preemptively use defensive cooldowns, call for a temp shield for my mage, something like that. So now I'm pushing in just a little bit, go for that master spell, and the mage instantly empty that ice block. So that pre-MD finally came in handy there. He gets life grip. Looks like he's going to survive though. Mage and a rogue both about 50% life, and we're kind of stabilizing here as sub frost. So my partner's doing a great job, but they're doing a ton of burst. Kidney shot out on the mage. The mark of a Lunith is about to explode, so actually life grip him to me. So if I did get sheeped or blinded, it would break it with the explosion. But their priest is getting very close to me for that fear. Get feared, will of fear, triple fear, counter, which is very nice. Have that archangel up, spamming those heals. Don't have too many defensive cooldowns. I use the will, so I don't have trinket for blind quite yet. I don't have paint soap. We don't have ice block, so this is a very, very sketchy game. Very close. We could lose in this next upcoming go, but the enemy team, once again, no trinket, no ice block from the enemy mage. Very, very scary for them as well. So this is like one go away from us winning or one go away from us losing the game. So this is pretty much it. Virtue's getting very low. That's the Vendetta. That's the kidney shot. My mage has a second ice block because he is frost. I actually forgot about that. So Arcane, only one ice block. We already forced it. Our mage has 2 blocks because he is playing frost. There's the full kidney shot out on the priest. Doesn't look like I'm in position to get a fear off of that, but they actually blinded my rogue. This is huge. Now that they blinded my rogue, there's no blind for me. I'm not scared about that, and now I can play a little bit more aggressively with purges, with fears, and things like that, because I don't have to play max range to avoid something like that blind. The mage went invis. I want to go ahead and reset my focus to that mage when I can, so I can see when he's casting that polymorph. Doesn't look like I'm doing it here, which is a mistake. There it is. There's the reset on the focus. When I do coaching or when I look at other people's gameplay, that's one thing that I do notice. When a rogue vanishes or when a mage mass invis uses any type of reset for the focus you don't reset it. So you want to really make sure to reset that focus as soon as you can, so you can see what their buffs are, their debuffs, cast bar, etc. So we have a nice triple CC setup here. We got the polymorph onto the priest, the kidney onto the mage, cheap onto the rogue. Tons of CC coming out here. Tons of bursts connecting. The priest does get out of the CC though, but I don't think it's going to be enough. The mage finally goes down. So that was a nice game there. Back and forth. Very scary. We definitely could have lost that. Could have played better too. So that pre-master spell kind of costed my mage his first ice block, and a little bit of an overlap with that powered barrier and the paint sub. So if I would have just paint subbed higher, he probably would have been fine. I would have been able to save the barrier, but nice game all around. Arcane Assass, definitely very hard, but I think the Frost sub might have the upper hand just because that sub rogue has a little bit of increased control. Let's go ahead and fast forward here to the end of the game. These guys were seeing how long they could survive, showing us how good they are, but I am actually curious on that damage breakdown, what it's looking like. So here's the damage breakdown. Looks like the Assassination Rogue actually came up top, and then it was Sub Rogue, Frost Mage, and the Arcane Mage actually down below. A little surprising. Not quite sure why the damage is so low, but that's the damage breakdown, about 2,300 MMR, so not bad. Guys, if you enjoyed this video and this breakdown, make sure to give the video a big thumbs up. If you did not enjoy this video, make sure to give the video a thumbs down so I know not to upload something like this again. Talk to me down below in the comments about what you thought of the video, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.